Hello there, a very good evening. This is Primetime News on TV1. I'm Thiruni Karunaratna. We're coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Before we head on to your stories in detail, first, your headlines. Yoshi Raj Paka arrested for allegedly committing offences under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Remanded until Monday. All arrests are being made under the existing legal framework. A statement from the Deputy Minister of Justice. 15 years since the disappearance of Prageet Eknaligoda, Sandhya Eknaligoda pleads with the gods demanding justice.
මම විතරක් නෙමෙයි මේ රටේ පාංශකූලේ අහිමි බොහෝ මිනිස්සු ඉන්නවා උතුරේද දකුණේද නැගෙනහිරද මේ හැමතැනම.
Tourist arrivals in Sri Lanka reach new heights. Allah Odyssey expands operations. United States freezes new funding for nearly all US aid programs worldwide. Mexico denies permission for a US military aircraft to land. On to your top story for tonight. Yoshi Raj Paka, son of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, who was arrested this morning, has been remanded until the day after tomorrow. Yoshi Raj Paka was remanded after he was produced this evening before additional magistrate Pavitra Sanjeevani. The police said that he was arrested on charges under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. A special team from the Criminal Investigation Department from Colombo arrested Yoshi Raj Paka this morning in Beliatta. The arrest was made in connection with an investigation into the purchase of land in Ratmalana for a sum of 34 million rupees that was allegedly acquired unlawfully. Police media spokesperson SSP Buddhikamanatunga said that Yoshi Raj Paka was taken into custody based on the advice of the Attorney General. The arrest was made based on sufficient evidence that the suspect had violated provisions of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act No. 5 of 2006. Accordingly, further legal action against Yoshi Raj Paka will be carried out under the Code of Criminal Procedure. Yoshi Raj Paka was then brought to the Criminal Investigation Department in Colombo this evening. He was later taken to the Halsdorf Magistrates Court. Additional Magistrate Pavitra Sanjeevani ordered that the suspect, Yoshi Raj Paka, be remanded until the 27th of January. Deputy Minister of Defence Aruna Jayasekara said that all arrests that are being made are done in accordance with the existing legal framework. He made this statement speaking at a meeting of the Association of Retired Members of the Tri-Forces held in Hambantota.
They
accuse the government of not nabbing thieves. We need some time to do that. This power was taken from chasing away those that caused problems in the country. We will definitely build this country. We will not bow down to anyone. Do you think we will bow down to thieves, to drug dealers, to the underworld? No, we won't. Where is the opposition? Those who were once kings are completely shattered today. Where is Basil? Basil is not to be seen. Those are the people who should be scared. They are afraid now. They are in hiding. A message was just received now stating that Yoshi Raj Paka was taken into custody. Now they will say that arresting him is not enough. We have to arrest some other people. This cannot be done lightly. This can only be done through proper legal channels and with the investigations carried out by the police.
පරීක්ෂණ කටයුතු ඒවා හරියට කරලා තමයි කටයුතු කරන්න.
මේ රට ආපස්සට ගෙනියන සැලසුම් හදන කණ්ඩායම හැම මොහොතකම උත්සාහ කරනවා සමාජයට.
The people who plan to take this country back to what it was are deliberately trying to create an opinion in the minds of the people, instilling doubt about what the government has done. When one embarks on a journey, the dogs along the way will bark. If we go to react to all the dogs who bark at us, we will not be able to continue our journey. We will not go to react to every dog that barks. But if any dog tries to bite, We know the steps that should be taken. We will not hesitate to do that either. So we would like to say this to the group that lost. I saw Mahinda Rajapaksa had gone to court asking for more security. It has been 15 years since Eknaligoda disappeared, and Mahinda Rajapaksa is claiming that his security detail is not enough. If we start talking about what they have done to this country, we will not be able to continue this discussion. But some of these things must be said. What happened to Eknaligoda and Lasantha Vikramatunga? They need to be reminded of the way media companies were targeted and attacked. They are talking about democracy now. They are conspiring once again. Some media companies are even advocating for them. There is something we need to tell these people as well. Anura and his group cannot be brought to their knees.
අපි පණිඩයක් කියන හැබැයි මතක තියාගන්න අනුරවල දන ගස්සන්න බෑ. මොන තරම් ලෑස්ති වුණත් මල්ලිනි දාස් කරන්නේ. එච්චර කතාව. බලමු කරමු. මල්ලිනි දාස් කරන්නේ.
Minister of Health and Mass Media Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa says that certain groups accused of various charges had destroyed much evidence during their time in power for over a decade.
ඉතින් පොලිසිය මොකද්ද මේ කරන්නේ එමෙතුමා එතකොට අන්තිමට මේ පිරිස් මේක කෙලින්ම ආණ්ඩුවට කේන්ද්‍රීය වෙන විදිහට තමයි උත්තර දෙන්නේ. මොකද්ද මේක දැන් යෝෂිත රාජපක්ෂටත් එහෙම දැන් හරියට සාක්ෂි ටික එකතු කරලා ඔය වැඩක්ද එහෙම කරලා තියෙන්නේ?
දූෂණවලට
Although some who are accused of serious charges are no longer in power, neither the investigative processes nor the legal actions were followed through properly. They were subjected to maximum influence, which led to files being buried regardless of the scale of the incidents. However, now these matters are being brought into action. This is a judicial process, and what happens beyond that will proceed based on the charges filed.
අනුව සිදු කරાવી.
අනිත් පැත්තෙන් පැය 24ක් ඇතුළත අපහම්බෙලා එනවා අධිකරණයෙන් කිසිම පියවරක් නැතුව. එතකොට නිකන් අර ඒක අර සාධාරණීකරණය කිරීමක් වෙනවා මේක දේශපාලන පරිගැනීමක් කියලා. ආණ්ඩුවට තමයි ඇඟිල්ල දික් වෙන්නේ.
Although they are granted bail, onward legal action will definitely be taken. I can confidently say that the government will not go easy on those accused and corrupt individuals. We trust that the investigative institutions and those responsible for filing cases will take appropriate action. From our end, we are providing the necessary facilities. If there are any shortcomings, it will be corrected and the process will move forward.
කරමින් ඉන්නවා. අඩුපාඩුවක් සිදුනොත් ඒක නිවැරදි කරගෙන ඉදිරියට යාවි.
Sandhya Eknaligoda pleaded with the gods for justice in Navagamur today. This was done in line with the completion of 15 years since the disappearance of Prageet Eknaligoda.
Sandhya Eknaligoda, along with several others, visited the Pattini Devalaya in Navagamur today and pleaded with the gods for justice. It's been 15 years since the disappearance of Prageet Eknaligoda. The group held an almsgiving at the premises of the temple and also engaged in a silent protest.
අපිට තාම යුක්තිය දුරයි. පේනවා යුක්තිය එනවා කියලා, ඇහෙනවා යුක්තිය දෙනවා කියලා.
Justice is still far away from us. We can see justice. We can hear that justice will be done. But still that justice is far away. Not only myself, but women in the north and south and the east are still crying and demanding for their loves. Still leaders of this country have no regard for justice. So we have to come back to nature again. We have to come to the people who can give us justice. But we ask the leaders of this country, punish these criminals before the 24th of January 2026. Do justice for the people who have been marching across the country demanding for justice. When those criminals are punished and justice is served, on that day we will be able to breathe freely in this country. We feel that this reformed government will give us justice and truly change the country.
මේ රටේ නිදහසේ පුරවැසියන් විදියට හුස්මක් ගන්න පුළුවන් වේවි. අපි හිතනවා මේ පුනරුදය ආණ්ඩුව අපිට යුක්ති ඉෂ්ට කළා සැබෑ පුනරුදයක් පෙන්නාවි රට වෙනස් කරાવી කියලා.
Prageet Eknaligoda was kidnapped on the night of the 24th of January in 2010 in an area close to Colombo. On the 25th of January 2022, the wife of journalist Prageet Eknaligoda, Sandhya Eknaligoda, performed a Viradam Puja at the Modhara Kali Kovil. During the puja, she shaved her head and pleaded with the gods for justice.
Now, 92,471 individuals from 16 districts have been affected by the ongoing heavy rains. A report issued by the Disaster Management Centre says that the adverse weather conditions have resulted in 2 deaths and 3 people being injured. 319 residences have also been partially damaged. 48 Navy relief teams are on standby, prepared to be deployed immediately to assist the public in the event of floods triggered by inclement weather. Meanwhile, according to data from the Water Management Unit of the Department of Irrigation, sluice gates of 43 main reservoirs continue to remain open.
Paddy fields across many parts of the island have been damaged due to heavy rainfall. About 50 acres in Tunekala, Peraru, Kantale were destroyed in this manner.
මේ ඔක්කොම යට වුණා ඔක්කොම මඩ හින්දා බී කාටවත් දෙන්න බෑ මේ බලන්නකො මේක මොනව කරන්නද මේ කිසිම දෙයකින් ප්‍රයෝජනයක් ගන්න නැති යන වීරම් කරපුවත් මුදලක් ගන්න ඉතුරු වෙන්නේ නැහැ අපි තාමත් ඇස්සල අඩු වෙලා නැහැ.
Meanwhile, about 200 acres of paddy fields under the Andiagala Agrarian Services Division in Anuradhapura have also been destroyed due to the heavy rains in the region.
මේ හවන් වල ඔය ගලලා මේක සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම විනාශ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ අපේ කුඹුරු ටික. දැන් ඉතින් මාසයකමාරක් වෙනවා මේ ගොයමට. සම්පූර්ණ වැලි කඳුත් එක්ක ගහලා කිසිම ආදායම් මාර්ගයක් අපිට නැහැ.
Approximately 10,000 acres of orchid seed cultivations in Mahavilachya have been completely destroyed as well.
උඳු අක්කර 20000කට වැඩි ප්‍රමාණයක් ගොයියෝ වගා කරලා තියෙනවා. හැපත් කාර්ගුණ නිසා මේ වෙද්දි උඳු සම්පූර්ණම පැලවෙලා තියෙනවා. ගස්වලම පැලවෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ආ එක කරලක්වත් හොඳයි කියන්නේ එහෙම නෑ. අපි මේ කන්නට තමයි මේ උදු ගොවිතැන කරන්නේ. වෙන ගොවිතැන් කරන්න පුළුවන් මේ අලි සීන් එකත් එක්ක එක කරගන්නත් බෑ.
Many cultivations including pumpkin in Yanikulam in Tirapani Anuradhapura were destroyed due to heavy rains.
පට්ටක් අක්කර මෙතන දෙකක් තියෙනවා. ඒකෙත් කඩන්න මේවා වෙනකොටම වැස්ස වැඩි වුණා ඔක්කොම කුණු වෙලා ගියා. දැන් මේ වගේ මේ පැල් හදා උඩ පැල් හදාගෙන අලි රැකගෙන තමයි මේ ඔක්කොම කරන්නේ. ඉතින් බඩු කෑල්ල. එක මුරෙන් ලස්සකට වැඩි ගන්න පුළුවන්. නැත්තරම නැති වුණා.
About 50 acres of chili, beans and several other crops in Paranattakal in Vaunia had got destroyed in this manner. Many cultivations in Mankada, which belong to the Kaluanchikudi Divisional Secretariat Division in Batticaloa, were also submerged and crops were destroyed due to heavy rains experienced in the eastern province.
The government has been requested to immediately suspend the cultivation project that is being carried out in an area prepared by bulldozing the forest reserve adjacent to the Damana Pallang Oya Demeter Alla Reservoir in Ampara.
This is the Damana Pallan Oya Demeter Alla Reservoir in Ampara. Approximately 2 acres of land adjacent to the banks of the reservoir have been bulldozed. Local residents claim that the Department of Agrarian Services in Ampara had bulldozed nearly 2 acres of the forest reserve. In this manner, the farmers also highlight that those who tore down the trees had proceeded to build a wired fence using the trunks of several valuable trees, including Ceylon stainwood and Trincomalee wood. The cleared out area has been used to cultivate crops such as kohila and betel nut. Villagers allege that contractors have cut down and removed numerous valuable trees from the forest reserve.
කැලේ තියෙන ගස් කපලා 150කට වැඩි කපලා විනාශ කරලා ඉවිල්ලා මේකට ගෙනත් දාලා මේ හිටවලා තියෙනවා. මේක ලොකු අපරාධයක්. හරි. ඒක මේ රජයේ මුදල් අවභාවිතානේ වඩා. අපි කොච්චරක දේවල් කිව්වත් මේක නතර කරන්න කියලා ඒගොල්ලෝ කරේ නෑ. ගොවිජන දේවායේගේ උපකාරීතුමි හම්බුනාට පස්සේ එතුමිය නිකන් අපිට බැන වැදුනා.
වනේ විනාශ කළා වන වගාවක් කරන එකේ ප්‍රතිඵලය මොකක්ද? වන වගාවක් මේකේ ගස් කොළන් හිටවපුවම මේ යායට එන අලි මෙතන හැංගෙනවා. ගොවියන්ට එලව ගන්න බෑ. රට පුරාම වනසත්තුන්ගෙන් වෙන විනාශයක් ගැන කියනවා. තව ඒ වනසත්තු ලං කරනවා මේ වගා භූමි වලට. ගොවි සංවිධානයේ නිලධාරි 3 දෙනාටයි රජයේ ලොකු නිලධාරි ගෝජන සේවා කොමතාරිස් තුමිය ඒ ලොකු නිලධාරි වරුන්ගේ සාක්කුවට මුදල් යන වැඩක් මේක.
Newsfirst reached out to Chamini Somadasa, the Commissioner of Agrarian Services in Ampara, for a comment on the matter. She said that discussions were held with farmers regarding the project prior to it being implemented. She further highlighted that the cultivation was launched in a manner that would not harm the forest reserve and that the cultivation poses no threat to the reservoir.
Colombo is the commercial capital of Sri Lanka. In the heart of Colombo, you will find the Bera Lake. Local officials have not been able to maintain this lake for decades. This has resulted in the Bera Lake becoming a source of bad odor that affects much of the heart of Colombo. We reported yesterday on the sudden death of several birds in the Bera Lake. What exactly has happened here?
This is the Bera Lake that has become a source of foul smell that spreads across the heart of Colombo. This is the current status of the Bera Lake. You can see plastic bottles, a lot of garbage collected into one place. So there are a lot of locations where you can see a lot of garbage collected in one place when you go around the Bera Lake. So we came yesterday as well and we reported about duck carcasses found in the Bera Lake, and people around the Bera Lake says that this should be cleaned. They say that they can't do their businesses, they say they can't go to school, they say they can't go to work as well because of the order from the lake. So one thing that the people want is that they want this to be cleaned.
එහා පැත්තට එන්න නම් හරිම අමාරු ඉන්න බෑ.
ගඳට පළවෙනි එක තමයි මිනිස්සු අපේ දාන්නේ මේ මේකේ මේ බෝඩ් එක බලන්න මැද හොඳයි.
I think the lake is quite polluted. The smell it's not very pleasant, so it's a shame that you have like very polluted lake and water.
I have not seen in Colombo anywhere like this here. They have to clean it. It's so stinking. You can't even stand here. It's very bad. I just came out of my car and it starts stinking too much.
Recently, Newsfirst reports on how many birds that had suddenly died in the Bera Lake. People were of the opinion that these deaths were caused due to some chemical that was added to the lake. We received reports today that the remaining birds in the area have been taken to a separate location and are being provided with food. NARA is conducting an investigation into the sudden death of these birds. NARA said that they will be able to reveal details about what actually happened in a few days. We attempted to contact the Colombo Municipal Council for a comment on this. However, we have been unable to get a response. So let me show you about where we find garbage in the Bera Lake. So if I show you, so these are the areas that we can find. If I show you, these are the areas. This is the Preharamavata. So these are the areas that we can find the garbage, as we can see, and as also people shared with us. So this is a very it's like the heart of the Colombo. It's like the heart of the Colombo. We can find businesses, we can find a lot of schools, a lot of hotels around this area, and a lot of tourists visit this location. And all of them say that this lake should be cleaned. So what the people say is, pointing fingers will not give the result what the people want. What they want is that the lake should be cleaned. Is the Colombo Municipal Council unable to keep this lake that is at the heart of the commercial capital of Sri Lanka clean? When will these officials sense the foul smell at the Bera Lake that spreads across Colombo?
Development projects are supposed to ease the lives of the general public. However, it's quite unfortunate that there are quite a few communities whose lives have been further inconvenienced due to such projects. And one such example is the Moragoda Canal development project. Today on our segment, What Happened to the Village?, we delve deeper into this case.
What happened to the village?
Under World Bank loan assistance in 2014, the Moragoda Canal development project was launched to address flooding in areas including the Gaul Town, Maligaspe, Milladua, Steel Road, Odiswatta, Dangedara, Samagivatta and Moragoda. This was intended to be a solution that helped the over 600 families who often faced many inconveniences due to flooding after just 20-30 minutes of heavy rainfall. The project had a budget of 3,447 million rupees or 3.447 billion and was expected to be completed by 2019. However, the work dragged on until 2022 and eventually stopped midway the same year. Originally designated to provide relief to the residents of the area, this project has become a source of even greater problems by now.
ගම්මානෙට විනාඩි 20ක් විතර වැස්ස ගියාට මේ ගම්මානෙම තියෙන ගෙවල් ටික ඔක්කොම යට වෙනවා. යට වෙලා ඉවරලා මේ තියෙන කුණු ඔක්කොම එන්නේ ගෙවල් ඇතුළට. ඊට පස්සේ වතුර ටික බහැලා යනවා කුණු ගොඩවල් ටික ඔක්කොම අපේ ගෙවල් ඇතුළට තමයි ඉර වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. අඩි 5මාරක් තමයි අපි වතුරේ ඉඳියේ. මැහි ගහගෙන තමයි හිටියේ නිවසල. කියන්නේ අපිට අඳුමක්වත් ඉතුරු වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
පිටාර ගන්නකොට මේ තියෙන කුණු ඔක්කොම එළියට දාලා පාරේ යන්න බෑ ඇත්තටම මඩ අවුරුදු ගාණක් වෙනවා. ඉතින් අපි පොඩි කාලේ ඉඳලම කියනවා මේක හදනවයි කියලා. තාම හදපු එක්කෙනෙක් නම් තාම දැක්කේ නැහැ.
The halting of this project midway has forced people to face devastating consequences in their daily lives.
ඇත්තටම කවදාවත් මේක ගලාගෙන යන්නේ නැහැ. එක තැනම පල් වෙනවා. මිනිස්සු හරි දුකක් විඳින්නේ. මේක මරණ සිදු වුණා. ඩෙන්ගු හැදුනා. මගේ එක බබෙක් මියුණෙන් නැති වුණා. ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එක හදලා පණ ගන්වලා ගත්තනම් ඇත්තටම ලෙඩ රෝග වලින් උනත් හැමෝම බේරෙනවා.
What happened to this project that has by now put people's lives at risk? Who is responsible for this failure? Have the authorities in charge of this project taken any action to rectify the situation? What steps have been taken to address these issues?
What happened to the village?
While some may think that farming is easy, the truth is far harsher. It is a relentless, demanding struggle that requires immense hard work and sacrifice. There are many farmers who have been left helpless, their lives deeply affected by the weight of this challenge. These are the voices of those who know the true cost of farming, a cost that goes beyond the fields. In the village of Hunugallaba in Ahatuvaba, Galgamur, where people depend on peanut farming for their livelihood, life is far from easy. This community is enduring hardships far greater than most can imagine. Here, people work tirelessly in the fields, often unable to make it home until late in the evening, barely managing to survive. The struggle to grow enough to feed their families is overwhelming.
ගොවිතැන්පත් කරලා තමයි ජීවත් වෙන්නේ. හරි දුකසේ. කෑටත් ගෙදර නැහැ. දවල්ටත් ගෙදර නැහැ. කෑමට එන්න එක්කෙනෙක් යනවා එක්කෙනෙක් එනවා. ඒක කෑට ගිහින් එළිය වැටෙනකම් පැල්ලලා අලි.
මට පුතා මේ වගාව කරගෙන යනකොට ගොඩාක් දුෂ්කරතා තියෙනවා. එකක් තමයි මේ හදනකොටම නියෝ කෑම. අනික හදලා පැලාවන් පස්සේ නොඑක් ගිලි එරුව ගැටි වෙනවා. ඒ තියෙන ටික කන්න නැවත ආයෙ සත්තු බෝ වෙනවා. මොනරු, මුකටි, ඉලව්, අලි. අවසානයේ ලබා ගන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. ඔක්කොම පාඩු.
The reality is that after all this hardship, the fruits of their labor are often sold at prices so low that they barely make a living. What's supposed to be a source of income ends up as a means of survival. In the small village of Hunugallaba, we heard the stories of the people struggling to make ends meet. Even when they try to sell their harvest, they barely cover their costs.
මහන්සිය රුපියල් 10000යි නම් ඉක්ුණලා ලාභේ ගන්න රුපියල් 2000 විතර. සොත්තමට ගන්න.
Gammatha, door to door.
News first with the people.
Happy headlines.
Tourists can now be seen exploring every corner of Sri Lanka. This is a positive development as tourism brings in valuable foreign exchange. Our small island nation has become a much sought after destination thanks to the natural beauty it has been blessed with. Coming up next is exciting news for all tourists. We're about to share the details of the most breathtaking train journey, offering you the perfect way to soak in Sri Lanka's stunning landscapes. This is Happy Headlines. The Aller Odyssey train is famous for offering tourists the best scenic journey to admire the beauty of Sri Lanka. Due to the high demand for this train journey, the Department of Railways has decided to operate 2 Aller Odyssey trains, one from Kandy to Damodara and another from Nanuoya to Badulla. Starting from the 1st of February, every weekend, the Aller Odyssey Kandy train will depart from Kandy at 9:45 am to Damodara. On the same day, the train will depart from Nanuoya to Kandy at 6 pm. The Department of Railways says that the Aller Odyssey Nanuoya train will begin operating on the 10th of February on all days excluding Mondays. In addition, the Aller Odyssey Colombo train will begin an extra journey every Monday starting from the 10th of February. Currently, the Aller Odyssey Colombo train departs from Colombo every Thursday and Saturday. This new addition to the train service has been introduced due to the growing popularity of the train journey among foreign tourists and the strong demand for it. Moreover, the Department of Railways has also planned to commence the Colombo Fort Kankasanture night mail train to run daily starting from the 31st of this month.
Happy headlines.
Meanwhile, there is more happy news on Sri Lanka's tourism sector. The country's airports experienced significant growth in both passenger and cargo traffic last year. The Airports and Air Services Company reported that air passenger arrivals and departures reached 8.88 million last year, reflecting a 17.69% increase compared to 2023. Additionally, aircraft arrivals and departures saw a 20.69% increase last year compared to 2023. Happy, isn't it? This is the progress taking place in our country. The Colombo Port City Special Economic Zone Chinese Cultural Night, an evening of cross-cultural celebration, was held in Colombo. The event was organized by the Ministry of Culture and Tourism of the People's Republic of China in collaboration with the Embassy of the People's Republic of China in Sri Lanka.
China and Sri Lanka are good friends and good partners. President Anuna Tisnayak, his successful visit to China last week has yielded fruitful results. The two heads of state reached important consensus with great outcomes to deepen the China-Sri Lanka strategic cooperative partnership and jointly building this China-Sri Lanka community with a shared future, providing strategic guidance for the development of our bilateral relationship. China is ready to work with Sri Lanka government and people to implement this important consensus reached by our leaders to jointly build a China-Sri Lanka community with a shared future, which is we share everything, good or bad, wealth and poor.
The business center at Port City Colombo is now nearing completion. With the committed lease area exceeding 60% of the total availability and the recreational activities at Port City Beach has attracted more than 100,000 visitors per month, signifying enhancing a vibrant lifestyle ambience in Port City. As we step into the dawn of 2025, Port City, Colombo ushers a new decade of golden opportunity. The international hospital, the university, and an international school.
The event featured traditional Chinese dances, martial arts, and various other performances.
Countries across time and space.
Newsfirst, main sponsor.
International Edu Expo with EdLocate on the 1st and 2nd February. Call us to register.
On to news overseas now. The US State Department has issued a stop work order for all existing foreign assistance and paused new aid after President Donald Trump ordered a paused review if aid allocation was aligned with his foreign policy.
The cable, drafted by the department's Foreign Assistance Office and approved by the Secretary of State Marco Rubio, said waivers have been issued for military financing for Israel and Egypt. No other countries were mentioned in the cable. The move risks cutting off billions of dollars of life-saving assistance. The United States is the largest single donor of aid globally. In fiscal year 2023, it disbursed $72 billion in assistance. Just hours after taking office on Monday, Trump ordered a 90-day pause in foreign development assistance pending a review of efficiencies and consistency with his foreign policy, but the scope of the order was not immediately known. The State Department cable said effective immediately, senior officials shall ensure that to the maximum extent permitted by law, no new obligations shall be made for foreign assistance in court until Rubio has made a decision after a review. It says for the existing foreign assistance awards, stop work orders shall be issued immediately until reviewed by Rubio.
Meanwhile, Mexico has refused a request from President Donald Trump's administration to allow a U.S. military aircraft deporting migrants to land in the country.
A U.S. military aircraft carried out two similar flights, each with about 80 migrants to Guatemala on Friday. The government was not able to move ahead with a plan to have a C-17 transport aircraft land in Mexico, however, after the country denied permission. A U.S. official and a Mexican official confirmed the decision. Mexico's foreign ministry, in a statement late yesterday, said the country had a, quote, very great relationship with the United States and cooperated on issues such as immigration. The ministry said, quote unquote, when it comes to repatriations, we will always accept the arrival of Mexicans to our territory with open arms. The Mexican official did not give a reason for the denial of permission to land, while the foreign ministry did not mention the inside.
Shifting your attention to the Middle East now, the Palestinian militant movement Hamas released 4 female Israeli soldier hostages on Saturday in return for 200 Palestinian prisoners, in keeping with a ceasefire agreement aimed at ending the 15-month-old war in Gaza. The 4 were led onto a podium in Gaza City amid a large crowd of Palestinians and surrounded by dozens of armed Hamas men. They waved and smiled before being led off, entering ICRC vehicles and being transported to Israeli forces. The soldiers, Karina Ariev, Daniela Gilboa, Nama Levy and Lidi Albag, were all stationed at an observation post on the edge of Gaza and abducted by Hamas fighters who overran their base during the Hamas attack on Israel on the 7th of October 2023. Their parents clapped and cried out in joy when they saw them on screen, watching the handover live from a nearby military base across the border. In Tel Aviv, hundreds of Israelis gathered at the so-called Hostages Square, crying, embracing and cheering as it was aired on a giant screen. According to the military, they were reunited with their families soon after. The Israeli Health Ministry said that they will be taken to a hospital in central Israel. Photos published by the Israeli military showed them embracing tightly with their parents in smiles and tears. The Super Sixes round of the ICC Women's Under-19 T20 World Cup 2025 kicked off in Malaysia today. 12 teams are competing in Groups A and B in the Super Sixes round of the ICC Women's Under-19 T20 World Cup 2025. New Zealand took on the United States of America in the first match today that was played in Malaysia. New Zealand won the match by 18 runs. Batting first, New Zealand were bowled out for 97 runs in 19.5 overs. In response, the American team only managed to put up a total of 79 runs. The match scheduled today between England and Nigeria was called off due to bad weather. The third match today was held between Australia and the West Indies. Australia won by 7 wickets. Batting first, the West Indies set a target of 54 for the Australians, and they reached that target in 10.5 overs, having only lost 3 wickets. The final match today was held between South Africa and Ireland. Batting first, Ireland only managed to put up a total of 35 runs. In response, South Africa reached their target in just 6 overs for the loss of 3 wickets. All the action of the ICC Women's Under-19 T20 World Cup 2025 can be watched live on TV1 or www.sirasatv.lk. Upendra Sirivartana has captured global attention, transcending borders beyond Sri Lanka for her exceptional talent on the Voice Finland stage. She also carried the essence of Sri Lankan culture to a worldwide audience, making a significant impact on the global stage. We leave you tonight with a glimpse into Upendra's stellar performance on the Voice Finland blind auditions. Good night.